Hey, good looking. I'm so glad that you came to my kitchen today to sit there and see what we all have cooking. Well, grab a hold of that vine, swing right onto my kitchen, and let's get cooking. Good looking. Today in my kitchen, I am going to be canning up some Coney Island hot dog sauce. So let's get cooking. Good looking. Hey there, good looking. I'm so glad that you came to my kitchen. And have I told you lately of how much I truly missed you all? Well, we're gonna sit there and do another canning video. And today, I'm gonna sit there and show you how to do a copycat recipe of A&W's Coney Island sauce. So you could sit there and make your own Coney Island hot dog. So let's go ahead and let's jump right into the recipe. I have roughly a little more than 1.5 pounds of ground beef that I need to use up, and I figured what better way to use this up is to sit there and can something that my family really loves to enjoy during them really hot summer days when you just don't feel like heating the kitchen or really cooking. So, what we're going to add to our 1.5 pounds of ground beef, I have half of a teaspoon of onion powder, half a teaspoon of garlic powder, half a teaspoon of salt, 1/8 teaspoon of celery seed, and 1/8 teaspoon of black pepper. So go ahead, let's put that all in. Now I'm gonna sit there, take this over to our stove, and we're just gonna sit there and brown it. You're not gonna sit there and cook it all the way. We just want to sit there and put a tan on the meat. Or as, oh, that's what I like to sit there and say. We're just gonna put the tan on the meat. But basically, we're par cooking our meat. So, I'm just gonna roughly break this off into little sections to help cook it and put the tan on the meat a little bit more. So off to the stove we go to par cook what's gonna be our A&W Coney Island sauce. And oh yeah, I have a little secret that I'm going to be sharing with you so you can make yours just as tasty as mine. So here we go with our little secret. Now, I know this is going to blow a lot of you away when you sit there and hear of this little secret. But go ahead, add 1/8 teaspoon. And go ahead and mix that all up with your ground beef, and your Coney Island sauce isn't going to be so sloppy. It's going to have some good sticking substance to it. Trust me, this baking soda trick really does do the trick. Try adding some of your or baking soda to your ground beef the next time you're making like a sloppy Joe. Trust me on this. Off to the stove to get its tan on. We'll be back. Okay, here is my par cooked ground beef. Now if there's any grease or anything, I want you to go ahead and drain all that grease off and out of your pan. Here is my par cooked, drained off ground beef. Now let's just set that off to the side. And in this pan, we're gonna sit there and add half an onion. Well, like I said, we're in COVID times, and right now I'm fresh out of onions, but I do have some dried minced onion, so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna use that. I'm gonna use a good little palmful, not a heaping palmful. Use a small palmful. Then we're gonna be needing one of these small little 6-ounce cans of tomato paste. Dump the tomato paste right into our pan, and then I want you to sit there and fill this can up with water. Bring the water over and add that just as well. So let's add our paste. And now let's go over and grab 1 can of the water. One can of water. Now the recipe calls for using 1/4 cup all the way up to a 1/2 cup of sugar. Now I'm going to let you decide how much sugar you want to add to yours, but in mine I'm adding the 1/4 cup. Then we add 1/8 cup apple cider vinegar. Then it calls for a 1/2 tablespoon of chili powder. And ooh, am I getting down there on my chili powder? I'm gonna have to make me some more. So add your 1/2 tablespoon of chili powder. I add a smidge or 2 more of the black pepper, and we're gonna add a smidge more of salt. And we're gonna add a pinch or 2 of celery seed. So right there's our pinch or 2. Now let's just stir all this up so all the flavors are mixed together, and so the dehydrated onion can reconstitute itself. So we'll be back when we're all done mixing this all up. Okay, I mixed it all up. Now, let me set up with my canning jars, and we're going to take it the rest of the way, and we're going to bring our copycat recipe of Coney Island sauce. And we're going to bring it on home. But before we put it into jars, now that's where our next discussion is going. What size of jar? Well, that all depends upon what size of family you all are feeding. Well, for me, yeah, my husband said it. For me, it's just me and myself, or me and myself. It's just me and my husband because I'm an empty nester, and it's just back to my husband and myself as it was in the very beginning. So I really don't need to have a lot of this in, the big size jars, so I can it up smaller than most of you canners out there in the YouTube land. So just keep that in mind, please. So you may be asking me, alright, so what size jar do I use? Well, I'm putting mine in half pints. So let's go ahead and put some of our A&W Coney Island sauce into my half pint jar here. Now see what I mean? Not so sloppy, has substance. It's gonna stick in your bun instead of going all over the place. That's the trick of the baking soda. And remember, you learned it here. So go ahead. We're gonna debubble. I'm gonna grab my debubbler. So I'm gonna sit there and debubble my jar. And remember, we're gonna leave about half-inch head space, so I can go ahead and put a little bit more in. Gonna pack it like that. I'm gonna go and get my paper toweling with some vinegar dipped on it. Okay. I have my paper toweling here that we went ahead and we dipped into our vinegar. We're gonna run it across the rim of our jar. We're gonna make sure we remove any of the food that might be up on the rim. And it's our last chance to check for any cracks or nicks in the rim of the jar. So I'm gonna go ahead, grab a canning ladle and a canning ring. Here's my canning lid, my canning ring, finger tighten it on, and off to the pressure canner it goes. Okay, I'm just gonna sit there and keep some off to the side. And can you guess what we're gonna be having for supper tonight in my household? That's right, we're gonna be having some of that A&W Coney Island sauce along with some beef smoked sausage, because that's what I have. I don't have a hot dog, but I have some beef smoked sausage to use that tastes almost exactly like a true hot dog. So off to the pressure canner these go. I'm gonna process them at 10 pounds of pressure because that's what I need for my area. Now, be sure to check your area to see what weight you should be processing your stuff at, because you may be at a higher elevation than what I am, or a lower elevation. So where I live, it's 10 pounds of pressure, and we're gonna sit there and pressure can these up for 75 minutes. Now, we're gonna vent our pressure canners for 10 minutes. After it has vented for the 10 minutes, that's when we're gonna put our 10-pound weight on. We're gonna build it up to the proper pressure, and as soon as the weight starts to jiggle a little bit, We're going to sit there, regulate our heat, and try to maintain that heat in the same pounds of pressure that we need. And if you're maintaining it, go ahead and start your 75 minutes of processing time. And then we're going to allow our pressure canners to come back down on a natural release. That's how easy it is to do your very own canning of the copycat A&W Coney Island sauce. Now, if you liked what you saw here today, give me a big old thumbs up. If you're not yet a subscriber, go up, hit that subscribe button, tap that little bell. That way you always know every time I do put out a new video. And as always, here's to happy cooking, but better yet, happy eating.